Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday. I have to share something exciting with you guys. Got a new heater for in here. It's warmer in here than it is in my house right now. I walked into here and I was like, whoa, it is warm. So my one heater should go off shortly because you can kind of hear it rattle. There it goes. And yeah, so I could probably be in shorts. The other thing I want to say to those of you who join me on Facebook, those of you who are joining me live on Facebook, tomorrow I'm teaching the workout in the drop group, the drop 2024 group, you guys. So make sure you're in that group if you join me live. Those of you on Facebook, because I won't be live in the Daily Move community tomorrow because I committed to teaching a workout for the Drop 24 group. And so I'm just going to do it in there. I think most of you are in there. Betty, I know you're in there. Darcy, I'm pretty sure you're in there. And anybody else who plans on doing the live with me tomorrow, just let me know. If you're not in there, we'll get you in there just for tomorrow. Okay, hang on. My timer's coming. All right, it's a leg day, guys. So say hi if you're joining me today. Let me know where you're watching from. Are you joining me? I'm here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays on TikTok and Facebook doing an online workout. So please join me if you can. If you're, not able to join me live, I repost these workouts to my YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you can do the workout on your own time. If 9:30 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays doesn't work for you, I've adjusted the time to 9:30. Just gives me a little bit more time to get some stuff done before I come in here. So I know a lot of you are probably at work and can't work out at 9:30, we're working on legs today. Okay, some kind of housekeeping items as we're getting started in case you're new to my page or new to my show, let's call it. If you're a beginner, I want you to remember to take breaks at any given time that you need to. I want you to remember to modify anything that you need to. I will try my best to offer modifications as we go through the workout. Anything that I add a hop to, you can keep low impact, kind of like what I'm doing right now. What else do I want to tell you? You know what? I want to tell you to congratulate yourself for being here. If you're just getting started and you're new to working out and moving your body, I want to encourage you to hang in there. It's going to be hard in the beginning, and that's okay. Because you can do hard things. We can all do hard things. And you know what? The most joyful moments of life come on the other side of doing hard things, right? Like they really do. Sometimes they're chosen, sometimes they're not. But when things come across my path that, adversities that I did not choose, I did not sign up for, I try to remember that in life there's the law of polarity, which means that there's an equal and opposite to everything. And so if I'm going through a hard time, I know on the other side of that difficult period of my life is going to be an equal and opposite high, right? And so, and that's why I think it's important to opt into difficult things in our life, because it teaches us to cope. Right? Like we learn to cope by doing hard things, right? Sometimes it's like, going out and running. I run outside all winter. I have a treadmill in the basement. Honestly, I'm kind of telling a little bit of a fib right now because I prefer running outside than running on the treadmill. I hate running on the treadmill. So the treadmill would actually be harder for me. But anyway, I run outside all winter, and winter, if you're an outdoor runner, it deals you some hands sometimes, right? Like, last week was -25, -27 with wind chill. I only look at wind chill. I don't really care what the temperature is. I care what the temperature feels like. Today there was like a fresh snowfall, so you know the trails were like a little bit more arduous, a little bit harder. You know, sometimes you get ice, like you get wind. Okay, so I'm gonna add a hop now. So you get it all if you run outside in the winter, and by the time, I always say, by the time spring comes, like your hardiness has been built up, your grit has been built up, right? Because summer has its own difficulties, but the nice thing about, you know, spring, summer, fall is you can just go out and run. But winter has costs to the mistakes in a sense, right? Because, you know, there's frostbite, or like, it's just hard. But it's also really rewarding, like to come home from a run where you conquered the cold, or you conquered the wind, or you conquered, you know, the conditions. Like, you feel pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie, right? So it's one of the best ways you can build up confidence if you're somebody who struggles with self-confidence, is to go out and do something hard, and at least you don't even have to overcome it, you just have to get through it. And on the other side of it, you're like, okay, I got through that. Like, so I can do, you know, this, and this. You know, there's a few things that I've done in my life over the last couple of years that they stay with me now. And I think I can do that because I did this, right? Like, you know, even one of, I think, the things that stops us the most in life is fear of FOPO, fear of other people's opinions. It's probably the number one crippler when it comes to us doing things. And you know, when I'm afraid of other people's opinions, I just think, like, they don't know. They don't know what I've done, right? They don't know what I've been through. They don't know what I can survive and what I can endure. So, like, so have at her, right? Because they don't know the grit that I have in me. And they don't need to know. Honestly, I just need to know that, right? Like, I need to know that I climbed a 14,000 foot mountain this summer, you know, where the winds were howling and I thought I was gonna blow off, and it was pitch dark, right? But guess what? The sky was unreal, the stars were unreal, and I got up and over that mountain, and I lived to tell about it. Or, you know, I traversed the top of a mountain range in September that it was sketch, like I have never seen sketchy like that. And it was, again, it was dark, and I was alone-ish. There was people around, but they were not with me. Wasn't really sure where I was going, but I did that by myself, not by myself, but like I did that by my own physical, efforts type of thing, right? So like doing hard things, remember, you're here to improve yourself, whether not just physically, but mentally. You're here to grow your grit, right? What a great saying that is. That's what I tell myself. I'm coming in here, and I don't know what's going to happen today. Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel necessarily. I don't know if my body's going to cooperate or if it's going to fight me. But we're going to do this, and we're going to do it the best that we can today. And tomorrow will be a new day, right? So I was trying to tell myself, your sole job is to show up, right? And to try. And whatever else happens is, not necessarily always in our control. But if we can train ourselves to just show up and start, right? Especially when it comes to like working out or running, I always say to myself, just start, give it 10 minutes, right? You can't quit before you start. Like, you're not allowed to just not start. That's kind of like a rule I try to hold for myself. You're not allowed to just at least try, right? And see, because the more you do that, the more you realize it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, except for the times that it's worse. But those are very few and far between, and then you adjust. But a number of times that I've had to adjust because it's actually been as bad or worse than I thought, is next to none, right? More often than not, it's not as bad as you think, and you're like, thank goodness I showed up and started. And I had to note, and it takes, you know, one of the things that we find really hard, I think, in life, especially these days, because we're such an instant gratification society, and we're so easily distracted, is we don't like repetition. We don't like to do the same thing over and over and over again. We don't want to read the same book. We don't want to watch the same show. We don't want to do the same workout. And the truth is, a lot of success in life or movement or change, truthfully, it comes from repetition, right? And so, in one of the ways that I'm, you know, sort of thinking of right now is repetition of a message to yourself, like how many times you say something, right? And the truth is, what we say, like the most, is what kind of sticks in our head, and how we formulate who we are is based on like the messaging that we give ourselves the most, right? So when it's hard to get started on like a workout, it's because you're constantly telling yourself how hard it's going to be, how uncomfortable it's going to be, how you don't like working out, or you don't work out, like those messages. And what I found was, because that was me a couple of years ago, okay, we're going to start with squats. Just trying to decide what weights I'm going to use. All right, I'm going in for the 25s. All right, so start with 10 squats. I just told myself, because I had kind of experienced some adversity when it came to my fitness, and I just started telling myself, this is hard. This is always hard, and it's uncomfortable, and I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good. And obviously you're gonna, you know, acquire, we're aiming for 10, that might have been 11. You're gonna acquire some like resistance when it comes to that. Okay, I'm grabbing a bar, because I'm gonna try something here. We're gonna do lunges. You don't have to use a barbell. I'm gonna try the barbell. You more than likely don't have a barbell, or so you can use a, and if you're new, if this is your first time, I want you to not even use weights at all, okay? All right, so we're gonna do lunges, and we're gonna do 10 per side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and one more. Okay, we're gonna do the other side now. So what I had to start doing, now how often have you done a workout and afterwards thought, oh, I feel like crap, I wish I didn't do that, right? Like almost every single time you're like, oh my God, what was I all worked up about? That was awesome, I feel amazing. And then, you know, you go about your life, and next time it's time to go work out, you're like, you forget, right? You forget how great you felt. I don't know if that was, okay, so what I'm actually gonna do, bear with me, you guys, sorry. I'm gonna set up my barbell here. Just so it's easier for me to lift up. So what I had to learn to do is repeat the message that I actually wanted in my brain, which was, I'm gonna feel great after I get it done. Like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I just like repeat those messages to myself. But here's the thing we don't like to do. We don't like to repeat stuff, right? We don't like to do the same thing over and over again. It's boring, it's redundant, right? Same with working out. People are like, I don't want to do the same exercises. I want. There's some funny trainers online that do these joke videos about what your trainer made up for you to do. That's not really an exercise. Okay, we're gonna do these ones, RDLs. So we call these, my ladies like to call these close the doors. So you wanna close the door with your butt. So you have kids, if you ever like wandered around the house with a kid on one hip or the laundry basket on the other, and you close cupboards and doors with your butt. I don't know what I'm at. Let's call that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so that's our first set. Okay, so squats, lunges, RDLs. Repetition of things that are going to move you towards where you want to go is the key to getting to where you want to go. Honestly, it really is. Okay, what we do is we repeat all the things that we don't want, and that's why we're when we don't want to be there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10. I could have had shorts on today because it is warm in here. Okay, we're going into lunges next. Well, I finally got a goal for the year that I set. Okay, we're gonna do reverse lunges this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Okay, other side. It's in May. My original goal was October, but I didn't get in. 3, 4 to the race. 5, 6, so I got a lot of work to do. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, again, if you don't have a bar, you don't need a bar to do these. You can use any weight. If you're just starting out, you're new to working out, you haven't been working out, whatever, you're just restarting, whatever it is, don't even use weights. The other thing I would say is if you're struggling a bit with your balance, you can do lunges like this. Okay, just statically. Try to make sure that your back is somewhat upright so that you're not bending forward in your lunges. I like to always think of a string on my head, kind of pulling up and down. Okay, so RDLs. So again, you can still do these without weights, right? They're gonna feel weird, but you wanna get used to the motion. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, chest is out, 4, soft knees, 3, 2, but you want to hinge from the hips, 1, okay? This is going to specifically target your butt and your hamstrings. You should be feeling it in your butt, your hamstrings. If you're feeling it in your back, you might be not closing the door with your butt. Your chest, your back might be rounded, so you want to make sure your back is flat. So I like to say chest out. If your chest is out, it's hard to round your back at the same time. Okay, we got one more round like that. All right. Make sure you're drinking. I like to aim for a gallon of water a day. This is like a little tip for you if you're focused on weight loss right now, is we lose fat through urination, sweating, and respiration, right? So if you think about that, one strategy is to make sure that you're drinking lots of water. There's a number of reasons why you want to drink water other than fat loss. That's not the only one. I think that's 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But I aim for a gallon of water a day. Now, however, if you're aiming for a gallon of water a day, you want to make sure you're getting sufficient electrolytes in and salt so that you're not diluting those in the consumption of that water. Yes, you can overhydrate, but my understanding from my coach is that a gallon of water a day will not do that, especially if you're taking minerals. So I take Revitalize once to twice a day, not just for the minerals, but also because I love it. Last one, and other side. So I try to get in 2, 3, that gallon by 6 or 7 o'clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So I have like a schedule for my water, just because it keeps me on track, right? And it keeps the water going in all day. So I try to get that thing down by the time I'm done my workout. Let's talk about that for a second, because I talked about this in my cooking show live today. I see a lot of messaging on social media, and I notice it because I used to probably deliver very similar messaging. In fact, some of you who've been doing these classes for a long time with me, okay, so 1, have heard this from me before, but I take it back because I was in a phase in my life when I was prescribing to that messaging of lowering the bar for myself, and I didn't have a goal. And so I was trying to accept and justify my actions that were leading me towards mediocrity, right? And so, I did a video yesterday saying, actually maybe it was this morning, saying there's a lot of people out there on social media, in your life, that are going to try to encourage you to do things to make yourself comfortable, right? Hit the snooze button, right? Sleep in on the weekends, you deserve it. Drink wine, you deserve it. Everything in moderation, you deserve to enjoy everything. Every single one of those things is, a way to level down or to accept mediocrity or accept good enough, right? It's good enough. We live in a good enough world, right? You guys kind of agree with that? If you open your eyes to it, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, people telling you you're good enough, right? Everybody's a winner. We do it in kids' sports. Everybody's winner. We don't want to harm their fragile egos. I think, and I'm not saying I'm right, this is just my perspective. Let's go to the suitcase squats next. If we put as much effort into building people up as we do justifying mediocrity, wouldn't that get us further, right? So instead of encouraging every kid is a winner, what if we teach them how to lose with pride? Teach them how to fail fail forward, like that failures, like change our relationship with failure, right? Or not even failure, but not achieving the goal. What if we changed our outlook on what it means to set a goal? To set a goal is to pursue something that you don't know that you can do, a true goal, right? In order to grow as a person. 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So what if we taught kids from a young age that failure is good, right? Failure means that you're trying something new and you're growing. But instead we create this environment where it's okay to be good enough, right? And so that's what I was doing. I was totally buying into that mindset of being okay to be good enough. Okay, 1, whoop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what you get? 7. We're gonna do 8. When you work really hard at justifying good enough, you get good enough, which is a bit underwhelming, I think. Anyway, that's my perspective. Good enough is a bit underwhelming. Somebody type that out for me in the comments. I want to remember that. We work really hard to be underwhelming. Don't we? I did. I'm full disclosure. 3. If you're going to work that hard, 4. Why not aim for something higher? 4, because we don't want to fail. That's why, because we're taught failure is bad. We're taught to set SMART goals because they should be achievable and, oh my gosh, it's like falling over. They should be achievable and realistic. If it's realistic and I can achieve it, it's not really a goal. It's just a task, right? What do you guys think? Do you guys agree? Do we put way too much effort into being mediocre and creating an environment where that's admired? Okay, we're gonna do those 3 for now. So we're gonna go back to our suitcase squats and do those guys, and then we'll finish off with, I think, some split squats at the end. maybe a wall sit or 2. Okay, so anyway, the reason I bring that up is because all over social media I see a couple of messages that are they're really, anybody saying kind of the opposite of the messages is a little bit crucified, because how dare you like raise that bar for people, right? Oh, that's not what they say, but okay, so I'll tell you what the 2 messages are. One is, and I saw this from like a really big influencer yesterday. She talked about how she's battled weight loss all of her life. She has so much severe emotional trauma when it comes to weight loss and her value as a person, which I completely respect. I lost count. 5, 4, 3, 2, and empathize with, right? I do. I do. And I could be criticized for not maybe understanding that. But I have my own things that I have poor relationships with, that I have trauma with, that I'm trying to work through, right? Like that I'm trying to plow through, not say, well, you're good enough. So she sort of said that she's lost 100 pounds, but you can see the emotional scarring still there. And before she lost 100 pounds, she was very much a campaigner for, accepting and embracing yourself as big and obese, but at the same time, her messaging for everything else in life was to redefine your self-image, right? And love yourself. And to me, that's just a disconnect, because if I love myself, right, I am not my body. This is true. I am not my body. But if I love myself, why wouldn't I want my body to be strong and healthy? That's kind of the way I look at it. So it's just two perspectives, because it's something that I've spent my life really working on, is my relationship with my body and what I see its role is for me. And for me, like, my body is a vehicle to allow me to experience and move through life, right? And so I want to take care of that vehicle because I want the best experiences from my life. And so to me, I equate those, right? I think there's two things that really limit us in life. So our health, right? Like our health and money. And they're two things that are very emotionally, you know, it's hard to talk about them. But so the fact that, and then she said, she wrote this beautiful post and then finished it with, "You're good enough the way you are. You don't have to lose weight." And I thought, well, that's not true for a lot of people. A lot of people are not good enough the way they are if they want to get the most out of life, because they're sick, because of their health, right? So I think that's not a good message. That's not the message that I want to endorse. I want to the message that I want to endorse is that you are worth the effort it takes to be strong and healthy. You're worth the attention and maybe the money and the time, one more, to put into yourself to be the strongest, most capable version of yourself physically, right? And mentally. Like, so, and again, we don't see these things in ourselves, so she probably, you know, really thinks her message is good for people, and it might be for people for where they're at, right? But I want to be the voice for you that says, raise your bar. I want to be the voice for you that says, you deserve to move through life in the highest capacity possible. And that's why you should, you know, entertain whether you need to lose weight, whether you need to build muscle, whether you need to change your diet, whether you need to, you know, whatever it is you need to do. It's going to look a little bit different for each of us depending what we want to do. But for me, my diet is something I have 100% control over. Like, I have a choice in what goes into my mouth and into my body. I choose that. And so I commit myself to choosing the things that are going to get me the outcome I want, which is the best possible life in terms of, you know, experience. And for me, I gotta feel good. I don't really like life when I don't feel good, when I'm tired and lethargic, and I respect that not everybody feels that way, right? But that's just how I feel, and that's how I want to encourage you. The other message I saw on another influencer. So the first one I told you about said, you don't need to lose weight. The other one was, a lot of her social media says, no diets. You don't need to diet. And I thought, well, what does that even mean, right? What does it mean to diet? Well, most people, I think, what she's saying is you don't need to follow a plan or a program. You don't need to be structured. And I thought to myself, if you have a goal, you do. If you have a goal when it comes to your health and weight loss, you do need to be structured and you do need to have a plan. What goal, and if you can name one, like, I would love to hear, I'm open-minded to hear this. What goal on this planet can you pursue and not have a plan and not follow a structure? Because you can't do it when you're training, right? You can't do it, like, I don't just go out and run whatever I want. Okay, Courtney DeWalter does. Okay, so she's the outlier, and she is most definitely, unarguably, indisputably an outlier, right? Because but generally speaking, you are not going to build a business without a plan. You are not going to build financial wealth without a plan, like, and structure and discipline. Like, you're not. So why do we like to say? And I thought, well, why is she saying that? Well, because she's appealing to people's desire to not put the effort in, right? Because it's so hard. It's so hard to follow a plan. It's so hard. It's deprivation. It's It's too rigid. It's too structured. I want to just do whatever I want whenever I want. You absolutely can do that. 100% you can do that. But not if you have a goal. And I want to encourage you to have a goal. Like, I think you should have a goal. Because I think, now, it might be not your time, right? Like, so, a couple of years, about 5 to 6 years ago, you know, I started a business. And you know, we only have so much bandwidth. It's true, I do agree. I don't think that we can multitask and do everything well, right? Something's got to give. And when I started my business, you know, the attention that I had been putting on my training and my diet, guys, is this set 2 or 3? 3, 2, it waned, right? And that was where my physical demise began, right? Like, but in all fairness, I dropped the ball on my personal health goals, my personal fitness goals. I raised the bar in my professional life and in my career. You know, and you might have kids right now, and you've raised the bar on being the best mom you can, although I would argue that your kids do what they see you do, not what you tell them to do. And so one of the best things you can do for your kids is to show them that you take care of yourself, because they will inevitably at some point take care of themselves. Was that set 2 or 3? I honestly don't know. Betty, let me know before I start the next set. So that is my argument against that. I don't think that's true. I think that's only true if you don't have a goal. And then I would ask you, why don't you have a goal? And so that person is trying to coach you. Okay, so this is funny too, because I saw somebody else, that was set 3. Okay, I thought so, but I just needed a confirmation. Okay, let's start with a wall sit for the next one. I'm gonna do a 30-second wall sit. Oh, I hate wall sits. Guys, I hate wall sits. But, you know, I gave my 14-year-old baseball team clients a challenge. I said, I made them pick their least favorite exercise. So each of them was different. Hey, you can take this challenge with me if you like. With them, I should say. Case rain wall sit. And they have to do their least favorite exercise either for 30 seconds or 10 reps a day. So one kid chose burpees, one kid chose push-ups, one kid chose goblet squats. He hates goblet squats. I was like, seriously, I could do those all day long. Anyway, we all have, because the thing that we hate is usually an indication of what we're not good at, and our, you know, an opportunity for growth is to work on the thing that we're not good at. Okay, and then the next thing we're gonna do is, we're gonna do split squats. We're gonna do 8 per side. Another of my least favorite exercises. So I'm doing both my least favorite exercises here to finish this off. Although I've done, you guys know, those of you who've been working out with me for a long time know I hated 747s and I hated split squats. And we're gonna do 8 per side. I've been doing both almost every workout for how long, you guys? In Copenhagen's. So you do the thing you hate and you'll actually get good at it and you won't hate it anymore. That's the trick. Okay, we're probably gonna do about 2 rounds of this one. I lost my train of thought again. Go figure. Okay, ready? Foot cramp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I went heavy today. Never lifted the purple on these. The second round, what we're going to do, so this round we're doing same arm, same leg. The next round we're going to do opposite arm, opposite leg. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, that's our final set. We're gonna do wall sits until our time runs out. We have 4 minutes. So we're gonna get 1 more set in of those. Do the things you don't like if you wanna get stronger. Also, it strengthens your mind. because I think, now this could be really naive of me, but Bob Proctor teaches that you have complete control over your thoughts, right? Over the acceptance of what thoughts you decide to believe and what thoughts you decide to reject, right? So if that's the case, then if we're doing something difficult, right, and we're fragile, what if we just change the way we think? Like, what if instead of thinking that's hard, we think, you know what, I'm getting better at that every time I do it. Because we have that power. Like, this is a gift that we have as human beings, is we have the ability to choose our thoughts. We don't have the ability to choose what comes into our mind, because all kinds of crazy crap comes into our head, but we have the ability to choose what we decide to believe and internalize as truth. And so instead of kind of looking for the messaging that appeases and what's the word, makes us complacent, right? Why don't we look for the messages that make us better? And so I would argue that when people say those things and they're from the perspective to make you more comfortable, reject them, right? That's my thinking. All I know is for a couple years during COVID, I was not feeling very great about myself, and I was looking for any possible messaging that I could find that could placate me. And it didn't do me much good, is all I'm going to say. It allowed me to stay safe, and by safe I mean it allowed me to not have to do the hard work in changing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and inevitably 10. Ooh, we did 10 that time. Inevitably, there's messages I'm choosing right now that are doing the same thing, and the trick is for me to figure out what they are, to identify them, because we don't always see them, because we think that we believe them, right? We do a good job of convincing ourselves, and the idea is to identify where we're trying to keep ourselves comfortable and go, you know what if that's not true? What if I challenge that in myself? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So guys, I got a 250-mile race coming up in May. So I got a lot of work to do to get strong, and there's a lot of things about that race that scare the crap out of me. And when I was looking at the race, I was starting to make a mental checklist of what I can do that. Yep, I'm good with that. And the things that I don't think I want to do that. And we compare the two lists, and if there's too many on the I don't think I can do that side, we don't do it. And I'm going to challenge you not to operate that way. I'm going to challenge you to ask yourself, but do I want to do it? And I'm like, yeah, I do want to do it. Like, I can't get this race out of my head. So we're going to do it. And I'm going to face all the fears that I have around that race. There's a number of them. And so right now I just got to get strong mentally and physically to prepare for it, because it is coming up fast. It is May 6th. So that is my goal, you guys. So I put it out there, let you guys know what I'm working on, what's scaring the crap out of me. I would love to hear your goal in the comments of the live. And thanks for joining me. I'll be back, you guys, tomorrow.